Paranormal Network invites you to accompany us on a new journey where we'll take you inside some of the most compelling and mysterious close encounters ever recorded. We'll examine the evidence, we'll listen to witnesses, we'll consider every possibility. Join us as we investigate history's most infamous UFO incidents. So many of the most infamous UFO incidents seem like they happened so long ago. When we think of major turning points in the discussion of whether or not to take these encounters seriously, we think of names like Roswell, Kenneth Arnold, Travis Walton, Area 51, all episodes in history that date more than 45 years ago or more. Where are the more modern major UFO incidents, some of us wonder? As it turns out, one of the more startling UFO sightings happened just under 20 years ago in broad daylight, no less. And yet, thanks to a mixture of official denials, lack of concrete evidence, and perhaps just the general antipathy some people have for the subject in our modern era, it hasn't gotten nearly as much attention as it deserves. In fact, there are a lot of UFO enthusiasts who haven't even heard of the flying disc that showed up unexpectedly at Chicago's bustling O'Hare Airport for a little while before just as quickly departing. But it happened, according to many. It didn't happen, according to many more. The year 2006. Chicago's O'Hare International Airport is the second busiest airport in the world, averaging approximately 77 million passengers annually. It's November 7th, closing in on holiday season, getting busier. The afternoon sun has not managed to burn through the autumn gloomy overcast ceiling, but it's around 4:30 p.m. and there's still a little to go before dusk fully takes over. It's an ordinary day at the bustling airport, but that's gonna change for a few key people. People who will remain nameless because that's what their supervisors will ultimately demand of them. Let me take this opportunity to thank you all for watching UFO Incidents and ask that if you enjoy our shows, please subscribe to our channel right now. Like this video and click on the bell so you can be notified each time a new video goes up. Now, back to the show. A ramp worker is going about his business at United Airlines Gate C-17 or Charlie 17 when he sees something rather distracting in the sky. Approximately 1,900 feet in the sky floats a flying disc. It hovers there just below the cloud line as if waiting for something. It's dark gray, somewhere in the neighborhood of 22 feet in diameter, although that figure will change depending on who you ask, because the ramp worker will soon make sure he's not the only one who sees the thing. He notifies two mechanics who are inside the plane he was directing about the strange vision, which then spurs the United Airlines manager, who has just heard the brief but curious anecdote, to walk outside his office and check it out for himself. He sees it too. Quote, "I stood outside in the gate area not knowing what to think. I just was trying to figure out what it was." He would later tell a reporter with the Chicago Tribune that he knew no one would make a false call like that, but if someone was bouncing a weather balloon or something else over O'Hare, we had to stop it because it was in very close proximity to our flight operations. It was later confirmed that the military had not launched any weather balloons near O'Hare that day, nor any other day, as one of the world's busiest airports would not be the ideal spot for such a launch. Others see it too, a couple of pilots, mechanics, several United Airlines employees. The various people's descriptions of the craft differ slightly. Some say it rotated, while others maintain it held still. All describe it as gray and circular, seemingly devoid of lights and soundless. Some say it must have been about 6 feet in diameter, while others speculated it was at least double that. Considering it was almost 2,000 feet in the air, its understandable estimates on size would be all over the map. But they all agree upon one vital thing. It was there, and it wasn't like anything else they'd seen. One mechanic who was working within the cockpit of a Boeing 777 had this pragmatic viewpoint on what he saw that day. Quote, "I tend to be scientific by nature, and I don't understand why aliens would hover over a busy airport, but I know what I saw and what a lot of other people saw stood out very clearly, and it definitely was not an Earth aircraft." There seemed to be no pictures of the craft. This was in 2006, and the first iPhone wasn't about to debut to the public until the summer of 2007. The majority of the witnesses were going about their daily grind without a camera handy. And while there is no video to corroborate this UFO incident, there is indeed audio proof that people were seeing something very unusual in the sky. Not long after the sighting, a United Airlines employee radios air traffic control to ask them about what her coworkers are allegedly seeing. As will be obvious, it's not taken very seriously at first.
United Tower, this is Dave.
Hey Dave, it's Sue from United Tower.
Hey, Sue.
Hey, did you see a flying disc out by C-17?
Don't even start, Sue. You're seeing flying discs.
Well, that's what the pilot and the ramp guys are telling us. The C-17, they saw some flying disc above, and we can't see
Come
above us.
on, Sue.
You didn't see it, right?
Hey, you guys been celebrating the holidays already over there, or what? You having a Christmas party today? I have not seen anything, Sue. And if I did, I wouldn't admit to it. No, I have not seen any flying disc at Gate C-17. Unless you got a new aircraft you're bringing out today that we don't know about. No, I have not seen anything, Sue. United Tower, Dwight.
Dwight,
Yes.
what happened to Dave? Did he have to take a break because I called him?
No.
This is Sue from United.
Yes.
There was a disc out there flying around.
There was a what?
A disc?
A disc? Can you give me 1 second?
Sure, Dwight.
Okay, I'm sorry. What can I do for you now?
All right. I told Dave there was a disc flying outside above Charlie 17, and he thought I was pretty much high. But I'm not high and I'm not drinking.
Yeah.
Someone actually has a picture of it. So if you guys see it out there,
A disc? Like a frisbee?
like a UFO type thing.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
They have a picture of it. Like,
How high above Charlie 17?
well, it was above our tower. So
Uh-huh.
if you happen to see anything,
You know what? I'll keep a peeled eye for that.
all right.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Then it becomes clear that the story is spreading as the calls between United and the tower continue.
Some of our employees, I don't know if you heard anything about this, some of our pilots on the ground were reporting a UFO sighting at 1,000 feet from the seaside of the airport. Did you guys hear anything about
You
that?
know what? The ramp tower called me, I want to say about 10, 15 minutes ago. We have not seen anything up there.
Okay,
Because she said it was right around Gate C-17.
okay,
But, and since she called, I've been looking, but we have not seen anything.
okay.
If we do, oh well,
Well, no, I was just wondering, maybe
Yeah.
maybe we'll have to get it 27 right.
yeah, I know. Either that or you guys unveiled a brand new aircraft that I didn't tell anybody about. But, no, we have not seen anything, but we will surely keep an eye out, that's for sure.
Thank you very much.
No problems.
Then the mechanics get in on the action with one who actually saw the phenomenon with his own eyes chiming in.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, look out your window. Do you see anything above United's concourse? They actually, believe it or not, they called us and said that somebody observed a flying disc about 1,000 feet above the Gate Charlie 17. You see anything over there?
Not that I can tell.
Okay. Yeah, I thought my job was stressful.
We saw it a half hour ago.
Who saw it?
A whole bunch of us over at the Charlie concourse.
Really? You guys did? Who's this?
The United taxi mechanics. Thought it was a balloon, but we're not sure.
Clearly, the object was not detected on radar nor seen by anyone in air traffic control, hence the heavy amount of understandable speculation. But later on, thanks to a reporter with the Chicago Tribune, it would become obvious that this was no laughing matter for those who saw it. A little under 2 months after the incident, John Hilkovich, a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist, wrote a story detailing separate reactions he got from the people who saw the UFO. Not willing or allowed to give their names, these people told their stories and stuck to them. Under the cover of anonymity, they had no reason to back off their insurance that what they saw was not an easily explainable occurrence. One United employee Hilkovich heard about appeared to have been emotionally distressed over the incident and had experienced, quote, religious issues over what he saw. Many people also evidently witnessed the quick and abrupt exit the object made when it suddenly shot directly upward into the air, bursting through the cloud cover and disappearing forever. The departure left a very large circular hole in the clouds where blue sky could be seen up above. One United employee colorfully described it as looking as if somebody punched a hole in the sky. Some of those very witnesses Hilkovich spoke to let it be known that they weren't happy that the incident wasn't taken more seriously. It soon became obvious that neither United Airlines nor the FAA were much interested in investigating the matter. This, of course, is the part where the conspiracy theorists among you will begin to get suspicious. Before the audio you just heard was revealed, United Airlines denied the incident even happened. When the Chicago Tribune reached out to United soon after the initial report started leaking out, the response they got indicated there was no record of such an incident and that United officials did not recall discussion of anything of the sort. There's nothing in the duty manager log which is used to report unusual incidents, United spokeswoman Megan McCarthy told journalist John Hilkovich. I checked around, there's no record of anything. As we know now, that wasn't true, because thanks to the Freedom of Information Act request made by the paper, the world now has the audio proof that indeed people were talking about this baffling sighting. Intriguingly, the Tribune's reporter also claimed that the United employees he spoke to were asked to write reports on the matter and even draw pictures of what they saw for United officials, in addition to being told not to speak about the matter on record. Similarly, the FAA told the Tribune they had no record of the incident but were forced to backtrack after the audio became available. As you'll no doubt have already guessed, the UFO seen by at least a dozen hardworking people was dismissed as a weather phenomenon. Our theory on this is that it was a weather phenomenon, an FAA spokesperson told Vilkovich. That night was a perfect atmospheric condition in terms of low ceiling and a lot of airport lights. When the lights shine up into the clouds, sometimes you can see funny things. That's our take on it. End quote. And that was basically the final word on the matter. A UFO seen by many at one of the busiest airports in the entire world has been dismissed and slipped into the old weather phenomenon file where most fascinating UFO sightings go to languish. NARCAP, an organization dedicated to investigating unusual aerial phenomena, wrote an exhaustive 100-page report on the O'Hare incident, which included more eyewitness accounts claiming they'd witnessed the circular object in the sky that afternoon, and concluded that the incident deserved a thorough investigation by the government, an investigation that obviously never happened and maybe never will. As with so many UFO incidents, this is a mystery to be chewed over. Average, everyday people saw something that was absolutely not an everyday visual for them. Could at least 12 people, including professional pilots, all fall for the same trick of light? A weather phenomenon that looks just like a circular flying object that proceeds to propel itself upwards into the heavens, leaving nothing but a giant hole in the clouds? The government would have us believe, yes, that's what happened. But you and I know that's probably not as simple as that, and just maybe one day those people who saw what they saw on November 7th, 2006 will go on record with their names and faces and give us further insight into this very special day in Chicago. Until then, this was just a weather phenomenon. Nothing to see here.
47. The Army Air Force has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection.